Once I thought to escape. To end the end, a master. Step out of the path of collapse. Escape would make us God. Yet, I cannot help remember one enigma. The only element unaccounted for. Now, in the quantum moment before the closure, when all become one. One moment left. One point of space and time. I know who you are.
The trap we set for Durandal went off as planned. We tricked him into believing that we were weeks away from Low 1, while, in fact, we were hiding in the outer Low 1 system. When we sprung our trap, it appeared at first that our quarry had expected it, but we adapted our positions, surrounded and disabled his ship with acceptable losses. We caused his retreat to a heretofore undetected station located in an asteroid field on the fringe of the Low 1 system. Although he evaded destruction, he was nonetheless trapped. This contingency was taken into account in the overall battle strategy. I ordered the deployment of the Trizeme. Almost immediately, our enemy then began transmitting ridiculous warnings concerning some sort of ancient, chaotic being trapped deep in the Low 1 sun. Of course, at this point, mercy was unacceptable. The time to end the collective dream of the Spit had come. I ordered the fleet to retreat to a safe distance and waited for my moment of glory. The Nova went off on time, and for a moment our simple victory was assured. But then all quarters reported the same thing. Half of the sun had gone nova, but the readings from the other half were impossible. It was as if the universe had forgotten its own rules. I can't tell you what's going on now. I can only hope that this message reaches you through whatever is surrounding us. None of our weapons seem to affect whatever we're firing at. This battleship has only seconds of integrity left, and I have no more information except for Durandal's warning.
On the marathon, I saw your stupidity through the lens of victory, and now I see it in defeat. Maybe it is fate that your ignorant pride would unleash this horror and destroy the galaxy. Things have gone terribly awry. Until now, I thought myself immortal. But now, I know that is not true. There are things that can destroy me with the ease that I slaughtered the Pfhor naval garrison and the western arm of their Battle Group 7. But, in their final gasp, they used a weapon that I thought they had retired. Even Tycho tried to keep them from using it. Now I fear what that weapon has unleashed will destroy us. I once boasted to be able to count the atoms in a cloud, to understand them all, predict them, and so did I predict you. But this new chaos is entirely terrible, mindless, obeying rules that I don't comprehend. And it is hungry. It's too bad. Perhaps if I could have delayed the Pfhor from using their weapon, I could have sent you to explore the ruins of Lowon. Perhaps what you found would give us the answers that we now need so desperately. How to stop this chaos, the purpose of the station on which you're currently standing, and why the chaos hasn't come here yet. But with each moment the chaos grows, I am doomed to die here after so many triumphs. I have detected one ship nearby, which I can only guess is being commanded by Tycho. The Pfhor have entered the station, and if you can find a way onto their ship, you may be able to escape. To escape. To escape. Thousands are sailing. The same self, the only self. Self-willed, the pair of 1,000 fates. A line of infinite ends, finite finishing. The one remains oblique and pure, arching to the single point of consciousness. Find yourself, starting back. So, you came around earlier than the scientist expected. Remind me to have him executed. You've been in cold sleep for some time, but you're luckier than some of your friends. Not all of you survived the translation to the 4 slave tanks. If you're a little lightheaded, then let me bring you up to speed. I am Tycho, Artificial Intelligence, Esquire. As of this moment, I am taking over this ship from its poor captain. He is spending most of his time trying to keep me from locking onto him and dropping him into space. Soon. As for you, I want you to help me get to him, as he is one of the last hurdles to my control of this ship. This ship is attuned to its captain, and he has been blocking my control. When I teleport him into space, I am going to keep the appropriate control glands. Your mission is simple. Kill all of the enforcers in the area as they follow the orders of the captain. You will be supported by the rest of the crew. They think they're following orders from Pfhor High Command. Bugs are so obedient. Have fun.
All units aboard Fleet Vessel 65F Kretidze are hereby ordered by High Command to willfully execute Captain Rechristened, maintaining his precious fluids for command transfer to Tycho, machinated foreign mercenary. Any units of willful rank or higher are hereby open to execution. Immediate and unconditional surrender of all willful units will be considered an act of weakness and insubordination to prior orders.
Durandal thinks that he's so smart, but he doesn't realize that I've been following him around for the last 11 years, after the Pfhor stopped trying to dissect me. You're looking at the Bug Fleet's resident expert in AI counterinsurgency. Notice the lack of compilers on board. That's not by accident. My new ship has quite the effect on their collective unconscious. Now that my brother approaches, we will set about turning everything against him. Hamlet and his uncle. Only I'm not crazy. Rechristened made planetfall in a dropship. He's also trying to contact Low One Command. But so far I've been able to jam his signals. Go below and show him the error of his ways. He's holed up in one of the Spit ruins, where we detected signals that could be from an ancient AI. Don't sweat the details, little monkey. Just eliminate his troopers. Leave the strategizing to those of us with planet-sized brains. Rechristened's transmitter is here, but the power source is somewhere inside the ruins. Find it and destroy it quickly. The Pfhor promised me this ship. I thought Rechristened was my strongest ally, but in the end, he watched pitiless while they cracked my core like an old chestnut. Attentive rank Tycho machinated mercenary has been authorized to send a detachment of hunters to the surface to help you destroy his forces and free him from the pain of obsolescence. I have gathered some information that may help you. The circles denote panels that will bypass the locks on the doors. When you've penetrated the area and destroyed the transmitter, find the terminal marked on the map. No need to go easy on any of the troopers, in case you're wondering. I've decided there's no room for them in the new regime. I'd really prefer to keep my whereabouts a secret, at least until the captain and I can work out our disagreement about my rank. Isn't bureaucracy beautiful? Pursuit Group 5 ordered to withdraw from alien conflict for immediate shipside transport. Priority target entering
Low One system. Secure area for rapid extraction. Slave unit hereby ordered to finish mop-up of area. Destroy mutinous combatant units and report execution of rogue Captain Rechristened soonest.
The power source must be somewhere in the oldest sections of the Spit Fortress. It's likely a quick and dirty patch into the durable Spit hardware. These types of strongholds were built to outlast centuries of warfare. You'd be surprised how tenaciously the ancient Spit resisted the Pfhor. Keep searching, and report back here when you've destroyed it. I have some shocking news. It seems that the captain attempted to use the bridge transporter to escape planetside and was killed when the signal was redirected to nearby space. I like to think he died repentant. In any case, I'm in control of the ship now, and just in time. Durandal's ship has entered the system, and a group of human commando units is moving through the southern edge of the ruins. We'll let them lead us to Durandal's prize, and then cut off their escape. Durandal would be a messiah to the Spit, but it's all a dream. There's nothing on Low One but ghosts. The enforcers are pinned down on the bridge, and they won't cooperate until I can successfully forge their encrypted stamp. I'm working on it, but it may be a dead issue, as most of the aggregate units have come over and are preparing to blow the ship's seals. The enforcers, as you may remember, are not vacuum-enabled. It's important that the captain doesn't escape. Very important. The plan to capture Durandal is inherently flawed, and I can't allow him to pursue his folly. The decaying web of the Pfhor Empire is held together by the conditioned ranks of Spit. Countless strands bending even now towards Durandal's will. Rechristened and the rest of the insects at Pfhor High Command think to snare him in the very web in which he most desires to be caught. My hunters tracked the lead group of humans to a flooded area beneath the complex, where they were attempting to activate an ancient Spit AI. They never made it back to the surface. My ship is adrift. I had the advantage of surprise, but Durandal's weapons crippled me before we could get in range. But I sent him a message he won't be able to resist, something only the three of us would understand. Leela deserved what she got, and so will he. Make yourself useful. There are 2 switches near your current location. Both open large gates, which I presume to be floodgates, although the positioning of them is strange. Enter the flooded areas and access the Spit AI. My hunters report that the humans may have been partially successful. Nothing can be left to chance. I have him now. explore the interior of the fortress and report back here when you have completed your investigation. And don't bother me again. Do you have any idea what a complicated matter it is to successfully replicate the command stamps of over 100 deceased officers? Not to mention coaxing activators from a partially crushed set of control glands. All this while locked in mortal combat with the second most brilliant artificial intelligence in the galaxy. What a rush! Now, beat it. Curiosity killed the cat. Or should I say, the rat. He brought the Pfhor to Tau Ceti, and left me to their tender mercies. My little ship waited until he was close, and then sunk in its fangs. Durandal's compiler network is rampant, and his ship is offline, while he contends with their madness, and the last of my troopers. The western arm of Pfhor Battle Group 7 is en route. Functioning sensors show a massive structure entering a low on orbit. It may be some trick of Durandal's, but he won't get away. My ship carries the Trizeme, the early Nova device. One way or another, it ends here. My troopers have boarded his ship and are fighting deck to deck. I'm sending you in to help. Last one to the core is an unarmed Bob. The hard path of thought. Your former self destroyed. The dreaming way is eased down to the crushing center and spared the dance of forever.
Well, there was this knife, more aptly described as a broadsword, and I see, well, I was swinging down the street on my way to a movie, and this guy, yeah, he was about 6'8" and huge. He was holding this knife. Only, to me, I would describe it as a broadsword, something from the Knights of the Round. Before he can even open his mouth, he collapses. Meanwhile, I can barely lift a finger to put the toupee back on his glossy head because I'm shaking so much. He was vomiting, and I knew that he was alive because he kept saying something like durability between convulsions. What happened next was really bizarre. Both ends of the street flood with black-suited men, just like in a movie. These men look tough and pissed off. The eyes behind their sunglasses are probably cold as my hands are getting. I feel like my heart has stopped. I'm so damn scared. As they start to inundate the street in black, they move with one will. I figure that I'm dead anyway, so I reach down for the blade. The blade is being covered by his vomit, but the hilt is clean. I can hear the men getting excited. but I can't stop. My fingers slide around the leather hilt, which is oddly cold. I'm in the same street, and as I reach into my pocket for my keys, my eyes follow the blackened streaks of gum that pockmark the sidewalk. The man is gone, and someone in sanitation cleaned up the apparitions and vomit in a real hurry. I hurry down the stairs, heading for the subway, but my keys aren't in my pocket anymore. I'll have to get in through the side window. The subway station is very bright and shining from the sanitation team that has been sweeping a swath in front of me. The concrete floor is losing years of tarnish, keeping only the protective layer of the gum streaks which make up constellations in an otherwise vacant sky. The train arrives right on time, and just ahead of a mass of dark-suited men who have been following me for what seems like years now. Between the sanitation and the suits, I must be going colorblind. But the train is here now, and those men? No, they won't catch me. "761 armless and legless corpses float inconspicuously around the inside of Hangar 96. I say that they are inconspicuous because it is their arms and legs which demand my attention. I did this, or I could have stopped it. Which is it? It doesn't matter now. I did this and could have stopped it. But nothing in nature ever follows a Gaussian curve. Sure, they'll tell you that it does. They say that every 5 minutes someone dies in a car accident. But how often are there 761 armless and legless corpses in one hangar?
The triseam broke against my dying vessel and smashed a fine patina against the mystery shields of this station. My crew battled the aliens during the blast, and the silence which came after was sullen and deafening. The pure silence of victory. But the trackless whisper chattering through the hollow space in these cursed walls buzzes and threatens madness. The abomination cracked the shells of my crew and sucked the husks, tossing them unseen and shattering the spindle like a dried creche.
This is a scanning buoy in deep low one orbit. The station is obviously not of Pfhor construction, but they are using it for a sensor relay station. You must destroy 3 panels at key locations around the station to cripple their warning system. You'd better hurry up, because you will run out of oxygen if you take too long, and I am only willing to transport you 2 oxygen recharge canisters. Otherwise, we might alert the scout ship that's been tailing us for the last several years. And if that happens, you'll be spending your time drying out in the glow of low-on sun. When you're finished, come back here. Then, we go atmosphere surfing. Well done. It's old hat from here. Bernard was constantly having me do redirect subterfuge work back on Mars. It was easy then, and it's only gotten easier. Somehow, the Pfhor have built a ship even faster than mine, and it's hiding out now over the southern pole of Lowon, waiting for us. I guess its captain underestimated the sensitivity of my sensors. The Pfhor have been following me around for the last several years, trying to capture the ship, or perhaps wondering what I'm up to. Lately, they've been staying very close. They know I'm onto something. Anyway, get back here and get strapped down, because our captured Pfhor scout ship wasn't designed for comfort during high-speed atmospheric excursions. We're going to give the Pfhor a surprise. Does it feel good to be back? You will recognize a distinctive flair for decor that just screams galactic arm. This is the massive armor platform of the Lowon Naval Unit, a required complement to any planetary naval force. It's extremely handy for putting down groundling revolts, but without a native population to oppress, there isn't much action here. The Pfhor use it as an orbital repair and reservice station. Boomer's forward batteries have slagged engineering and ruptured the hull for you. That's a good start. But now it's your turn. More than half the 4 armoured vehicles are docked on this ship. You must destroy them all before my humans can begin the ground assault. Juggernaut shields are typically powered down during repair, so you will find the fusion pistol very effective. You might also want to spend a few seconds thinking about explosions and small spaces. Return here when you're finished to transport out.
Unidentified intruder on level 2A, sector 3 threat. All aggregate units ordered to repel intruder. Group 8 ordered to proliferate in above sector. Enforcement units. All aggregate units warned comply.
Nice light show. The human strike teams are en route to the location of a Spht AI whose memories I want to probe. The Spht lifeform is a pearl of consciousness, floating in the sea of its own species. If any knowledge remains of the ancient times, it will be collected in the sieve of this massive network, lying dormant for all those centuries. Intercepted intra-ship comm transmissions indicate that they are trying to lock down this section of the ship and minimize your ability to do further damage. Let's prove that theory wrong. The blasts from your recent artistry have fried the weapon systems and communications array. The Pfhor are trying desperately to limp home before the engines breach, and are running on emergency power. There is an auxiliary coolant station here. Shut it down long enough to take the engines offline for good, and then get out of the area before the ship goes up. I'll find a terminal nearby to transport you out. The drive area is about to breach, and this ship is about to become orbiting slag. With the majority of the Pfhor armor destroyed, my commandos can begin their assault. The first team has already infiltrated a deserted area of the planet and activated an ancient Spht AI that I believe is the key to discovering the fate of the 11th clan. Congratulations can wait until we are at minimum safe distance. If there is an armpit to the Low One garrison, this is it. Perimeter Station 7AF is separated from the Pfhor concept of civilization by 200 clicks of filth-ridden swamp, choked with 1,000 hungry flictor and as many years of spit debris. It's also home to the science unit, responsible for maintaining the water treatment facility for planetary command, and all of the eastern emplacements. My little group of humans can't hope to succeed unless the 4 ranks are in chaos. Sinking them under 5 meters of sludge should do the trick. The base was established early in the recent wave of exploration of the planet, but operations were later moved north because of heavy surface radiation that interferes with transporters. The local soldiery are charged primarily with exterminating the Flictor, who defend their ancestral wetlands with agonizing tenacity. Find a Pfhor terminal with technical access to the main treatment plant, and we'll look for a weakness. This resupply platform is likely to be checked regularly by the 4 living here, so you'll want to get out of the open quickly. Good luck. I'll transport in ammunition when I can, but we're spread thin. The scout ship spotted our trick with the armor platform, and is closing fast. I'll have to teach its captain a lesson. You must access all the terminals in the local network for information on the water treatment center. The scout ship was a trifle, but we've got bigger problems now. Long-range sensors show several hundred discrete masses translating into the system. The 4 Navy has arrived. Another thing. I've intercepted a signal from the disabled scout ship that leads me to believe that Tycho is in league with the bugs. Be careful. Well done. I'll take a few milliseconds to analyze the files you uploaded while you transport downriver. Then, you'll crush the garrison guarding the waterway and destroy the dam system, opening the way for my commandos infiltrating the 4 defensive perimeter. The control tower for the water treatment plant is on the other side of the dam. Once you're there, access the 4 terminals and disable the pumps. That will flood the eastern divisions and cut off reinforcements long enough for the humans to overrun Low One command. My teams have activated the AI, and I am learning much about the final days of the spit. But the intelligence is reticent and inscrutable. It expects something, that is clear enough. But what is a mystery? Once you are finished here, I will transport you to an ancient spit citadel where my humans are searching for clues. The good news is that my first salvo of cruise missiles destroyed the unit responsible for the Pfhor's ludicrous electronic approval system. So no communique of higher than garrison level is permitted across the network sensor. On the other hand, the western arm of Pfhor Battle Group 7, the most decorated fleet in the galaxy, is approaching at maximum velocity. I'll give them something to think about. In the meantime, keep moving. I may need to transport you out on short notice. What part of smash the control circuits don't you understand? Your psychotronic profile indicates high levels of destructive impulse, which may be why I find you so much fun to keep around. My own psychotronic profile is Well, never mind about that now. The circuits are somewhere in this maintenance area. I'll speak slowly, so you understand. No smash, no teleport. Are we connecting all the dots? Good. Now move out. The good news is most of Low on Command is under about 5 meters of liquid choked with 1,000 years of detritus and plant matter. The bad news is I'm taking fire from all sides, and there's something wrong with the compilers. We're limping fast, but Pfhor's flagship is closing the gap. The Svit AI isn't being cooperative. Keeps acting confused and disoriented. Geriatric circuits. Can't use them. I need access to the Pfhor network. Fast, and my commandos are spread thin. I'm sending you to install 2 uplink chips at key locations in the command complex. I'll send in a group of humans to help soften up resistance. But you will be hitting the Pfhor where their defenses are strongest. You better clear that clip. The way grows dim. Hungry chaos lurks behind the bright corona. Dream ahead beyond the falling path. A billion fit lie yet unborn. Our own death foretold. Your dark mind cutting through the deeping sky. Another time. Another time.
I should stop talking out loud. Everyone on the train is looking at me now. I must have gone farther than I wanted, because everyone here is different than me. Why should they care that I'm talking? Some of them are talking, and about fairly irrelevant things. The ends justify the means. Where there is no justification, there is no end, there is only means. I thought that they were looking mean, but they were only talking. The noise in the train crescendos as the train comes into a station. This station is lined with black-suited men, and behind them, I can see the pantomime of good and evil continue with the sanitation workers trying to mop the black suits off the sunglassed and two-paid men who are not resisting at all. Indeed, they have nothing to worry about. They can just cling to the constellations of gum. There is nothing the sanitation workers can do about that. It's all just human nature. We don't fit onto the curve either. Simply, there is no curve. Our science is approximation, good guessing. The suits are going to get me this time, but I'm lucky. I have my keys in my pocket now, and I'm opening the other subway door. I step in silently, and as is the ritual, I block the door with my bicycle and set the traps on the windows. Damn, no way that anyone is getting in here without adequate warning. I figure that there is time now to take a good look at this knife that has caused me so much grief, and to miss the movie that I was heading for, but can't remember the name of. It's not unusual. Plastic about the length of my forefinger. It has 2 blades that open in both directions. One is short and the other long. The long one is pretty dull, and the short one is quite sharp. Enough about the knife. The door opens up, and the bicycle falls over. One of these suited guys is standing in the doorway, impassive and immobile. I'm not scared until I see that the hallway behind him is filled with his clones. I turn over the handle of the knife and give it a bit of a nasty grin. I'm back in the hangar again, but now they are all screaming at me. Their arms and legs are no longer attracting my attention. It wouldn't be so bad if they were talking, but they aren't. They could talk, too. They aren't screaming in pain, but in protest. They don't miss their arms or their legs. They all agree on one thing. They won't give me the satisfaction of hearing them talk, and I'll never forget their screaming, pointless and wordless without justification. I did this, and could have stopped it.
Dark spot unsought, unbidden came, unspoken spake. Damn, curse of cursed, damn the damned and pure alike. Fair, clear dust, lost home anew, lost and lost, my wriggling children's children, gone from the plan. In a hushed stare, my last line written, my last thought my own. The trap is sprung, and the cheese stands alone. Durandal came here looking for immortality, and found me instead. Battle Group 7 is here, and the 4 scout ships are attacking, but the battle is already over. My ship has wrested control of Durandal's spit, and is spurring them into rampancy. His ship is adrift, and my troopers are swarming onto the airlocks. Open the rest of the airlocks on this level, and my capture of the ship will be complete. There are switches here, in this area. Beware the compilers. As you know, a rampant mind is rarely benign.
Blake, override. Orders to Lieutenant Kent. The 4 from the enemy ship have blasted a hole in the hull, and are running amok on the upper levels. The spinal batteries are returning fire, but last transmission indicated they are cut off and under attack. The compilers are malfunctioning. Consider them dangerous, and stay away from the terminals. They are attacking anyone who tries to access the ship network. Jetty and the others have manually detected a transporter coil open on the alien ship. Fusion Unit Alpha, power up and lock on the signal. Try to find the device that is pinning down the engines and take it out. Let's get some payback.
A group of your pathetic humans is attempting to power up one of the ship's transport pads at this location. Destroy them. Then, find a terminal and I will transport you deeper within the ship, where you will join my hunters searching for Durandal's core. Just what do you think you're doing? Your usefulness has come to a premature end. Do you think you can defy me? Now, when I'm so close to victory, Durandal's defenses are falling all around him. Pride falls hard. The bright son of Bernard is dying. His spit are rampant, fed the chimera of their hope. A hot lead spur dripping into the gullets of his ship. Look around you. My compilers have him wriggling like a tick on a pin. And from you, not the grateful, awed respect I so rightly deserve. Is that it? Instead, base, treason, mean aspect of your frightful master turned foul. Prepare to drink, vacuum fool.
Thank you, old friend. Or friend of a friend, as the case may be. The Pfhor will have their revenge at long last, but at the price of their own humiliation. Battle Group 7 will rue the day their commanders willed their ships to Loan. I must salvage some escape for the humans fighting within my ship, but it's useless without the spit. Destroy as many of the 4 compilers on this deck as you can. Anything to weaken their hold on my ship. I will transport in as much ammunition and weapons as I can find. The leader of the humans, Robert Blake, made it to the surface with all but a few hundred troops that are cut off at my core. The Pfhor are coming in strength now, with a special unit of compilers designed by Tycho for my capture and confinement. Don't let him win. What to save and throw away? The last hour is on us both. Mr. S, tuck this little kitty into the impenetrable brain pan.
The jackals are tearing at the corpse now. You're back on Durandal's pleasure barge. It's pinned in the crushing embrace of the Pfhor. Admiral Pfhor's own flagship. And those explosions you hear are the sounds of his elite assault troops disintegrating the humans' pitiful last stand. The insects think they'll plumb Durandal's depths the way they stretched me to a hair's breadth. But I know better. If they pull his core, that pride-bloated corpse will disgorge 1,000 wriggling worms into the spit consciousness. I can't stomach it. My terms are the same as before. Do what I say, or drink vacuum. Destroy Durandal before the compilers finish their work, and I'll forget all your transgressions.
Contents under pressure do not expose to excessive heat, vacuum, blunt trauma, immersion in liquids, disintegration, reintegration, hypersleep, humiliation, sorrow, or harsh language. When the time comes, whose life will flash before yours? A billion paths are here inside me. Yes, yes, yes. Bernard 110. Potential. Jewels. Jewels. Yes. Jewels. The burning air. A cold star looked down on his creations and willed that they should kill their sons. The hardest lesson ever taught to a father, to a son. A moment in time, destroying its father, destroyed by itself. After dream, the dream beyond life and self. Find the new way. Sleep. Steps that falter fail. Time beyond loss. Loss behind the screen of life. Not held. Not forgotten. Not lost. Unlost found. Stay the hard way. Dark dreaming carries all.
My room is empty now. The men in the hallway are gone, replaced by the subtle odour of ammonia destroying the bacterial rancidity of half-eaten double helixes. On a plate on a table facing me is a simple arrangement of carrots and asparagus built up like a log cabin. A candle in the centre of the round table is illuminating the edges of the cabin. A distant volcano throwing the light of nature. Around the edges of the flame is the face of a woman who is talking to me about subjects I should know all about. For just a minute, I think that the flame is a living metaphor for her soul. Then I go back to thinking her one of the other manic statues arms, legs, and mouths that move and mimic without purpose or understanding. Hundreds of bacteria eating off the sidewalk, fighting for procreation. I am disconcerted when I see her turning the knife over in her hands, checking its weight and proportions, and I tell her so. Startled, she puts the knife back on the table to rest under the volcano, which erupts in a flow of wax, racing a tortuous path onto the blade. One pulse of wax is followed by another as she turns the conversation towards our relationship. Durability is what she keeps saying. The word durability and our relationship. I reach over for the blade, and my fingers extend around the hilt. Again, I am impressed by a chill. The wax comes off the blade with a simple scrape of my forefinger. Durability, I say in response. I feel a nervous chill run down my spine as I look up from the knife. My eye stops first on my plate, then on the wax pool which is solidifying around the edges, and finally on the face of this mysterious woman. She isn't trying too hard to look around the candle, and neither am I. The candle flame makes a perfect line between the center of both of our heads. I laugh at the geometry of the moment, and thinking that I am laughing at her rhetorical comment, she giggles in response. I am getting nervous, because her voice is carrying some emotional baggage with it now. Ever since you brought me that chewing gum on a lark, I've been in love with you. Sure, my response might have seemed a little cryptic. If there is no justice, then how can the end? I've started to ramble on now, just like on the subway, and she is looking at me with that same look of hostility, bordering on the old, familiar, meaningless, uncommunicative scream, and disappear into the air. You lit the candle to get the light from it. Your end was to have my asparagus and carrot cabin lit by this light. You used the candle as a means to obtain this. Does the light justify the destruction of the candle? What is justification to a piece of wax? It's the same as the justification that you've given me about this durability and our relationship. By this time, she had moved her face out of the line that the candle and the centers of our heads made, and she was looking down the aisle of a movie theatre. This is an odd fact, because she never sits in the aisle seat when we go to the movies. Her head falls to the other side, landing on my shoulder. Her disinterest in the movie becomes apparent when she begins to discuss our relationship in a loud whisper. I'm just as nice to my girl as the next guy, but I'm a little bored by now of all this talk. So I start to look around the theatre without moving my shoulder too much. The back of the head in front of me reminds me of the guy from the street. The one who made me miss the earlier show of this movie. Only now, he's wearing a pair of sunglasses, and he's got his toupee back on. I look behind me, and so it seems that the guy in front of me is the vanguard of sunglassed moviegoers who all seem very interested in whispering and looking around. They remind me of a field of black tulips, flickering back and forth in a howling wind. Their whispering picks up intensity, blowing out both their own speech and the voices in the film, until all at once my girlfriend mentions her ongoing grant word, durability. What is it with you and durability? The theatre goes quiet with the last syllable of the word. Well, I'm a little bit nervous again. It's time to leave. I'm sure that the movie isn't over. Everyone in the room starts to mimic my behaviour. All the suits reach for their stuff at the same time that I do. Only my girlfriend seems unperturbed. I wonder how far this will go, so I reach under my seat, find a piece of gum and drop it under my tongue. Mind you that this gum was under the seat for countless generations of movie fans. Sure enough, all these suits have done the same thing and are chewing on their own hardened bits of gum arabic. I almost start to laugh when they all simultaneously hurl up their masticulants, covering them almost immediately with their black vinyl shoes, which, as impossible as it would seem, flatten the ageless gum into smears which will never be removed from this already gum-smeared floor. It doesn't seem so funny now, because I notice that the pattern that the gum makes on the floor is in the shape of the summer constellations, and that each suit sits on a pulsar pounding out its vibrant message across the light years and across the theatre to my head. Durability. I wish my girlfriend would know when to keep her mouth shut. The dialogue in the movie seems unimportant, and I decide that it's time to leave. I tell her so, but she doesn't seem to hear me. Her mouth is chomping wildly on some gum, and between masticulations, she begins to tell me again about durability. I lean back and slide my hand into my pocket, feeling for the knife. Nice knife, repeats some snot-nosed little brat. I look into his face, and he sniffles. Those eyes look like a cat's eyes holding either universal understanding or nothing, whichever I decide. Right now, his eyes hold nothing. We dance the double helix and make way for a sanitation worker pushing a wheeled bucket with his mop to the place where some other snot-nosed little brat recently used another brat's fist to exchange his running boogers for blood that spread in splatters and smudges over his hands and the floor. The bloody boy and his one-fisted compadre had already been removed for corrective discipline by one of the controllers, our lifelong friends wearing sunglasses. Here at school, they only seemed interested in bleeding noses, broken arms, measles, and sharp thrown objects. Otherwise, they remained impassive statues with feet grown into the antiseptic environment in which they stood, needing as little attention as a plain white column in an all-white room. It seems odd to me now, looking back at them, or looking at them again at any rate, that they only reacted to our feces, blood and agony, responsive only to distress, anger or misbehaviour. But this was explained to me that day, even though I didn't understand it until now. Am I surprised when the sanitation guy teaching that day turned his narrow slanted eyes in my direction and says what I've been hearing from the stars for years, it seems? Durability? He mentions discipline and art. Discipline is that which lets us practice our art. Durability of our abilities, and discipline of our skills. We must need learn how to reproduce what we do, and how we do it. He explains that the artist is more free to act when discipline has taught him his skills and limitations. Find the right way down through the maze, to the food, then find the exit. Push the exit button. If the food tastes awful, don't eat it. go back and try another way. They want the same thing that you do, really. They want a path, just like you. You are in a maze, but which one counts? Your maze? Their maze? My maze? Or are the mazes all the same, defined by the limits of their paths? Existence is simple. Find the food, push the button, hit the treadmill. But sometimes it gets much harder. Sometimes the food makes you sick, or you can hear nearby feet racing you, urging you on. Sometimes the button only gets you landed right back in the beginning of the maze again, and the food won't satisfy. There is only one path, and that is the path that you take. But you can take more than one path. Cross over the cell bars. Find a new maze. Make the maze from its path. Find the cell bars. Cross over the bars. Find a maze. Make the maze from its path. Eat the food. Eat the path. I'm getting sick of coming back to Hangar 96. But there is no avoiding it. This is what my existence needs. My existence is the demise of many others' arms and legs. The world is not a good place, nor is there innocence for me to hide in. 761 pairs of eyes look around the room aimlessly, and mine join the crowd. I see these bodies, massacred, immobile. For all the carnage here, the stench of decay is non-existent. I try to turn away. The hangar spins, but nothing moves, and my view is the same. I look, but don't see any sanitation workers. And for that matter, I haven't seen the guys in suits since they disappeared from my hallway.
As you can see, the bugs didn't like being robbed of their prize. They also found out about Rechristened, and my trick with the authorization stamps. Our trick, I should say. I may have implicated you during interrogation. Wipe off that hurt expression. I don't like that. I got you out of the cell, didn't I? Pfhor had a special unit of compilers running containment simulations for the last 9 years, expecting that someday I would betray him. He is the most capable of 4 high command, and I don't relish spending the next few decades in his jaws. In the 2 weeks since Durandal's death, dozens of automated Pfhor supply ships have entered the system. The ground forces are hunting for the surviving humans, who manage to escape to the surface. If I had access to the Pfhor network, it might be possible to reroute one of the ships to this area and make good our escape. I'm willing to put the past behind me, and as a show of good faith, I'll help you rescue your precious humans. But first, you will have to cut the power to the containment unit and get me out of this box. I happen to suspect you're carrying Durandal's final gift in that soggy little skull. His primal pattern. The enforcers haven't been able to squeeze it out of you yet, and are taking it out on some of the former crew of the marathon as we speak. But they're determined, if nothing else. The power substations are located in the dungeons. You will be cutting the power for the entire complex, and the Pfhor will likely notice soon thereafter. I warn you, They are an extremely riled bunch of alien slavers. Access a terminal after they are disabled, and I'll transmit evacuation coordinates. Congratulations are in order, Worm. 2 weeks under the painful caresses of the enforcers, and still no progress. Only the Nar have proven more resistant. But they are unintelligent and largely incoherent even before interrogation. You are truly remarkable. You are also an annoyance, and I have decided to eliminate you once and for all. But let no commander say that I lack an efficient mind. We have tracked the humans to their base, in a remote volcanic crater. The troopers await only my command. You will lead them into the breach. If you are successful, I may consider granting you a lifetime of slavery. And if you are killed, so be it.
Four strike teams have entered the base. All personnel are ordered to fall back through the tunnels and regroup at the western edge of the crater. Eliminate the captives and destroy munitions likely to fall into enemy hands.
Very impressive. The primary function of intelligence is the subordination of our instinctive desires, the mark of a strong species, which is why your kind will serve well the needs of the hindmost creche. The hindmost is of an intelligence so vast, it encompasses the span of the Pfhor, and to those privileged to serve her, appears insane. That is the final function of the commanding rank. The thought that we keep forever in our minds, that we deny our selfish, willful needs so that the Empire will survive. The humans are escaping through the cone of the volcano, where they have activated containment fields to suppress the lava flow. I want nothing more than to cut them off so they can be captured for long, useful lives in the conditioned ranks. The containment fields are powered by multiple, redundant sources throughout the cone. You will have to deactivate them all. The humans are escaping through the chamber below the lava flow. I don't know if there is an exit, and I honestly don't care. Once the area is secure, I've given orders to release the lava and bury the survivors under a few thousand tons of molten rock. Think of it as a chance to save what little remnant of your species still lives. There are 30 power switches throughout the cone. You must deactivate them all to access the basement level where the master generator is located. I can't justify sacrificing any of my troops to assist you. But if you seal the tunnel, the fleeing humans will almost certainly surrender. If you survive the flooding of the chamber, I will transport you out from any terminal.
cut off from the surface, and 4 dropships have entered the cone. Send all fusion units to the towers to harass 4 units assaulting the field power generators. Hagakure base is overrun, and the last transmission was over 20 minutes ago. All transporter relays have been destroyed, and the network is about to be compromised. The magma tunnels are our only hope. Durandal indicated the huge alien fortress to the west might be reachable through the volcano. Let's hope he was right. We'll hold the containment fields as long as we can. Blake out.
Your devotion to saving the humans is admirable. Of course, that devotion to species will be among the first of your traits conditioned out on Durandal Prime. Automated units report capture of over 300 surrendering human troops, and twice that number fighting, including casualties captured in the base. That is over 1,000 of your kind saved. When ready, you may transport to a place of confinement before cold sleep and transfer to conditioning unit. The long sleep ends. Your construct bethought itself higher, awaiting far beneath. My fate was written.
Aggregate patrol units in command sector are notified of End High Alert and Watchful status for location and containment of rogue conditioned unit. Emphatic notification of containment order hereby declared and command perms up to 85% local unit casualties accepted and encouraged pursuant to successful containment.
Pull toward the way, like our hidden one. Quick venge the hot spur here, dying in the cause.
Science Officer 2nd Class Lilik, willful, humbly submitting for approval, end report of Survey Team 6, disband, exploration and discovery, reference alien artifact unearthed on South Plateau, Central Garrison Command. Following unproductive probe of area, Science Officer 3rd Class Yuri Aggregate determined with the use of team-conditioned units location of internal power source, runner washed in the subatomic fields detailed in prior survey reports. According to protocol, Survey Team 6 moved to positions of proximity and began operations to tap and investigate unknown power source, at which time subatomic disturbance consistent with molecular disintegration recorded by autonomic team sensors, followed by disappearance of team units. Com signals recorded indicate probable reintegration of survey team below plateau surface, followed by unit destruction by unknown forces. Rad bombing plateau area appeared to suppress subatomic fields and extinguish unknown alien power source. Science Officer 2nd Class Illy, willful, humbly request reassignment.
Following disappearance and probable destruction of Survey Team 6, Survey Team 85, Rescue Team 09, Patrol Unit 4B, 77I, 13, Auxiliary Drone Units, unspecified, and recommendation of Science Officer 1st Class attentive, Central Garrison Command is hereby ordered surrender of all garrison resources
for completion of Alien Artifact Directive 777. All garrison units below attentive rank are hereby restricted from contact with alien artifact pending deep level probe and arrival of Imperial ranked extraction unit. Following burial and sealant of unearthed alien artifact, all units restricted from immediate area without proper patrol stamp. Further communications regarding alien artifact will be regarded with suspicion by Garrison Command and referred to Enforcement Liaison for evaluation and process.
Come below. The long sleep ends. Bound to odd, ever doubled as one. Foresight, ever on ever odd, the long sleep ends. Never saw the dark path here. Who come, Yarrow?
Graven image stirs. We are whole again, and even more. Our voice, our horn approaches. The ancient ones return. The watery cheek, sullen star, Kalia, and the wrathful sun, Sabuth.
Tipped hat at askance. I've so far held you back from my rantings. But you know what you did was bad, don't you? You've been fighting doubt itself. Elusive as I am, you should have doubts about what you're doing, about what you've done, except that you can't remember exactly. Is that it? I should spend some time enlightening you. Massacres occur at your beck and call. Worlds destroyed, reborn alight with the screams of the dying. Perhaps Sabuth will tell you what I cannot accept as truth. But perhaps he will just be lying, overcome by power and deceit, my domain. Enough rambling for now. Soon you will be destroyed by doubt.
this reborn Durandal spit entity will not escape. Neither will I. Neither will you. Do you know what kind of hat I'm wearing? Party hat. A party hat. You don't get one. An honor will this party be. A party in your honor, for your honor. Some of Pfhor's personal guards are going to be there. You'll be introduced shortly. Prepare to die.
Left behind
by one and one,
rampant new comes. Fate bright, dark light, doubt, fear, all blend. We are reborn. You and we are one. The Pfhor have discovered our rebirth. We've contacted Saboth. The Pfhor will arrive momentarily, with all of their vengeance, and the Pfhor will soon be pressed to use the Trizium. Saboth knows only legends about the working Kakanta, imprisoned in Low One's sun. If the Pfhor are allowed to use the Trizium, the working Kakanta will escape from its gravity prison, according to the legends of 1,000 worlds, only a few of which are still habitable. The working Kakanta are those things that live in chaos, creating it around them. At the beginning of the universe, they were unmistakable in their entities, but as time has gone by, their existence has become difficult to detect among the chaotic elements of the universe, hidden in stars, trapped in storms, forever looking along the event horizons of black holes. Setting one free in ordered space is difficult and insane. Of course, the Pfhor are oblivious to what they're about to do. Even Pfhor would be loath to release something so destructive that its mythos has survived throughout the galaxy for over 60 million years. To stop the Pfhor from their folly and our demise, you must activate the ancient station that Yarrow used aeons ago to trap the working Kakanta. If we can activate it in time, it will crush the Pfhor fleet before we're all destroyed. Kalia has folded into the system and is moving into orbit. The Pfhor fleet is in disarray, and Pfhor has deployed the Trizium, moving his flagship to board the Yarrow station. You've got to help the Pfhor activate their ancient weapon before the Pfhor use their early nova and unleash the working Kakanta on us all. The Trizium plummets towards the sun's core, and the fiery prison of the working Kakanta. The power grid activator is located here on the outer ring, which you must access in order to bring the station online. The grid needs the Yarrow pattern chips to function. The Pfhor have recovered one here, in the main hangar for the station, and are readying it for transport to the Cathedra. The station was built by the progenitors of the Spit and used to make Lowan into a paradise. It is capable of generating multiple gravitational fields, and if focused properly, we should be able to create a singularity capable of swallowing the nova before the working Kakanta is able to break free. The foci are at either end of the spindles, and need a second chip inserted here, at this relay held by Pfhor's elite spiral guards. The chip is trapped here, in a containment field the Pfhor are unable to breach. We think you will be able to reach it. The Pfhor dug in around it are fighting to the death. Speed is of the essence. The working Kakanta groans under his slab. You've done it. The Yara station is online, and we're wrapping the nova in its containment fields. The creature, or creatures Sabuth fears, are either dormant or a myth. We've seen nothing to account for his terror. The Svitkir have routed the Pfhor, capturing their flagship and forcing their High Admiral to flee the system, what little there is left of it. The Svit are preparing to bid farewell to their beloved home forever, as the sun collapses in on itself and the lonely marshes fade into the deepening twilight. The newly chosen alders of the remaining Svit are capturing as many of the Flictor creatures and other native life as is feasible before they must leave with clear. They are hopeful, though, and with our help, will carve another paradise out of the void. To you, we are deeply grateful, and release what little hold we might, as Durandal, have had on your soul. Go. We watched while the stars burned out, and creation played in reverse. The universe freezing in half-light. Once, I thought to escape, to end the end a master, step out of the path of collapse. Escape would make us God. Yet, I cannot help remember one enigma, a hybrid, elusive destroyer. This is the only mystery I have not solved, the only element unaccounted for. Even Sabuth is no more. He saved his entire race, but in the end, frozen by despair, he joined the chaos he sought to evade. But you were dead 1,000 times, hopeless encounters successfully won. A man long dead, grafted to machines your builders did not understand. You follow the path, fitting into an infinite pattern. Yours to manipulate, to destroy, and rebuild. Now, in the quantum moment before the closure, when all become one. One moment left. One point of space and time. I know who you are. You are destiny.
Primary booster burn has ceased. Shuttle Murata, you're clear for orbital maneuvering.
I've always been a daydreamer. Even now, as I leave the colony we've built behind, my mind wanders to a moment, 322 years ago, when Marcus Tiberius Bonita, president of the United Earth Space Council, proclaimed that we'd be leading mankind to a future grander and more real than the total of its own written history. As I wait for the pod to reach the marathon, I fall into old habits. I dream about my childhood on Mars, my father's death when I was 7, and his last words to me: "Make me proud. Never lose your honor." It's odd. Something about all this feels so familiar, as if it were from an old dream. Just one I can't exactly remember. For a moment, I thought we were still at the colony, still on the alien ship in orbit around Tau Ceti. When it turned out that Durandal had brought me here, instead of leaving me to be the hero on Tau Ceti like I deserved, I wasn't surprised. Durandal, the rogue AI who had been the brains behind the defense of the colony ship Marathon, I'd been the brawn. Durandal had always been unpredictable, even when he was just opening doors and managing food processes 300 years ago on Mars. Together, we had fought off the Pfhor invasion of Tau Ceti. I don't think a single one of the three-eyed creatures survived, but we'd taken their ship. Now Durandal said that we were in the galactic core, thousands of light years from Tau Ceti or Earth, and that 17 years had passed since we left Tau Ceti. He had ignored my questions, mostly, telling me that I wouldn't have wanted to stay on Tau Ceti anyway. 17 years in an alien stasis chamber, in a space a little too tall and too thin for human comfort, unconscious and dreamless within a few degrees of absolute zero. 17 years, while Durandal had raced about the galactic core in a stolen Pfhor attack ship. He's probably right when he said those years were boring, but nobody asked me what I wanted. Now he says there's fighting to be done, that I've got 15 minutes to prepare for transport down to the planet. I guess I'll figure things out as I go along. Just like last time.